Hi there. Welcome to today's talk on Copilot Agent Management Controls. And I am joined today by
Rowe.
Darryl Rowe, and my name is Michael Gannotti. We are technology specialists with, look at you. You're even wearing your HLS and Leadership Council.
Leadership. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're not messing about.
Whoa, he's a leader. I'm a follower.
Actually, you're a graduate. You did the same program.
I am a graduate. My parents were so proud. But yeah, so we both have been through that. But today, though, we're not talking HLS Leadership Council. It's a great topic, which every company should be doing that. We're going to be talking about agent management controls, and I'm very excited about it because last time, Darryl, you talked about introduction to agents. Remember?
Yep.
And that was some great stuff. I mean, the power of agents it really is transformative. And I had a customer I was with today with the phone, and they talked about how they're actively, like, they're starting to tread down that path for all their licensed users, but they're actively now looking at their first use case for metered. And so how do you control this stuff? So let's go ahead. We're going to jump into some of this, but the first thing we need to say is a reminder, and we put this on everything, and there's a reason, believe me, people. Copilot is the UI for AI. So when you're talking about your enterprise deployments of AI, generative AI, we start getting into this whole Copilot control system. But really, this idea that Copilot, and especially Copilot chat, really is becoming that go-to interface for all things AI. And so we just want to continue to bring that forward and let you kind of let that sink in, percolate a bit. Like I percolate my coffee. Let's percolate about Copilot being the UI for AI, because there is just so much coming around that and much more to come, as you'll see in the next few months. But having said that, today we're going to get into the middle section here around management controls. And this is an introductory one. We're going to go a little higher level today. I'm going to show you some of the places where you can do all the work that we're going to talk about today. But then we're going to dive into specifics following this one, where we get into SharePoint, agents and SharePoint controls. If you're doing Agent Builder, if you're doing Copilot Studio, etc., we'll get into all that. And then we'll get into the measurement and reporting. That'll be at the tail end. But today we're going to be talking about, in this Copilot control system, the areas where we go to get in there, to turn the dials, ratchet things up, open them up or close them down, depending upon your org's needs. So with that in mind, let's just go ahead and start diving in. You'll see that while we've got the one big rectangle here, there are different sections. And I've had some IT folks, they've said, Mike, why do I got to go here for this? Why do I go here for this? There are reasons. Because you are doing Copilot in these various areas. Those various areas have their own controls native. You'll see when I get into the actual the interface, but you'll see that we are starting to get more centralized view with links too, and we were just going through some of those links out to other areas so that we bring it all, a closer view together. But the idea is that this is where, that you should be going into your tenant admin, and then from there into the various areas. So the first that we wanted to cover is Power Platform Admin Center. So as many of you know, when you're going in and you're doing things like Agent Builder, et cetera, we start talking about the Power Platform and doing things like automation and all that good stuff. Where do we looking, where people are working with Power Platform? So I'm going to go ahead, and we actually have it up and ready. And if you have anything to add as I'm jumping through all this, Darryl, just jump right in. Feel free.
Yeah.
So
there's this is really where the front and center is the M365 Admin Center, and all roads lead to the other admin centers from here.
To the other from here. And before I even dive into Power Platform, something you had me do earlier, I'm going to quick highlight it. If you don't know where to go, what should you do, Darryl?
There's a little icon on the top right. I don't know. It's Copilot. What's that thing?
What is this Copilot?
It's everywhere. What's going on?
Yeah, so we've actually got, if you need to come in here, look at this. I love this. Where do I manage, I don't know, agents in SharePoint? And what's really cool with this, it's leveraging the documentation with your center and the Microsoft Learn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it says you can find that in SharePoint. Go to SharePoint. So they're providing you a direct link here. Or if I want to say, how do I manage SharePoint? And broaden that out a little more. Last one I did was when we did it beforehand was we did Power Platform. I got back a whole laundry list. So you can see here, though, I can go ahead. Oh, and I clicked. Did I do where do I? Or no, how? Oh, I did where do I? Here we go to manage SharePoint. Oh, yeah. You can use Central Admin, and it starts talking about how to get in there, what to do, more detail. There you go. Go to support.microsoft.com, and then it's starting. So all the things you're used to doing with Copilot for other stuff, admins for you.
Yep.
So we said we're going to do this for Power Platform. So if you're not familiar, Power Platform folks are probably already familiar, but there's a whole range of things that you can start to do analytic-wise, looking at where people are using things, publishing and approving with certain agents. You're going to come down to Power Platform, click. This is not rocket science. Those, again, who are using this already know this. You can come in here. You can start to work with it. We actually have tried the new Admin Center. I didn't enable that. Have you enabled this yet?
I haven't, no. So this is
look at that. There we go.
Well.
The new
there's
one.
A Copilot button as well on the left.
And wait a minute, what?
Yeah, there's a Copilot button.
Look at that. So now we've got a whole, there we go. And so we have our Copilot button. So here you go. First thing you should do, type the new one. We actually didn't do this in the preview, folks. We were looking at the old one. I was going to click through in there, but here you can see it's going to give it right here. Beautiful. And so you've got information, and then how, Power Apps, AI Copilot overview. It's got all kinds of information right from here. Take action. Evidently, there is a turn on 10 and wide analytics, which I would want so I could start to see this. Here's where we open the settings. And then, of course, you can see all of what's going on. So that's where you're going to go. Little tip that we just learned right now. And just go ahead and make sure you turn on the new Admin Center. And then you'll get your little Copilot icon right there. Coming back to our deck. M365 Admin Center. I love this one. Probably my favorite because when we come back here and scroll on up, we talked about this, I think. Did we talk about this in the last one?
I think we did in the previous one, maybe not the last one, but we did in the previous one.
Just that right here, everything else is monochrome, black and white on the left, except they really want to highlight the Copilot control system. It's in Technicolor right there, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of, what it reminds me of? If you ever watch The Wizard of Oz, they show when they're in Kansas and they're all black and white, and when they hit Oz, it's color. There you go. We're in Oz. And so here's the control system. And then right in here, you'll notice they have an overview. They have some scores, things you can look at. There's a health, discover, but there is a settings area. I love this. There's a lot of great settings that we've talked through in the past about that you can do here. You know, you can come in, look at diagnostic logs, turn things on and off, right? Do you want to allow or disallow image generation? You can come right in here. There's always links out to documentation, as well as if it's an area that is elsewhere, like, oh, I don't know, let's say here, web search for Microsoft 365 Copilot and Copilot Chat, you can go straight to creating that cloud policy right from here. So it may not be, you know, maybe in a different area, but if it is that control, they actually link you directly to it from here, which I like. So, you know, right from here, I can come in and then click, open that up, and then I could go ahead and start to create my policy to control that access or not for my users and who could have that. So that is the second section. You know, be sure to take a look on it. This is my favorite, and I think everybody should do this. Pin chat. Yes, pin Copilot chat to the nav bar.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody should do that. That way you'll get it down below in the taskbar and other places. It'll just start to bubble up. So that's another area where our controls are when we talk about IT admin controls. Another area, which also includes pinning, is our old friend, Teams. So again, if we come on back here, pull this up, and we're going to go back down, and we go to our Teams Admin Center. Loading Teams. So this is going to be Teams-specific functions that we want to do with Copilot. So we can come in here, and for example, with Teams apps, we can manage apps. So we can look in here and see, you know, are we going to allow or disallow? And I'm going to, as soon as that finishes, there we go. I'll just type Copilot. I thought I was typing Copilot. There it is. And so now we can see Copilot. Here it is. Make sure it's unblocked so we can allow that for users or control who can see it, right, within Teams, but make that available here in Teams. And then under our setup policies, this is where we can go to pin it within Teams. And I cannot stress enough, if your org has not done this, do this for your users. Pin, and it'll do it for the freely available one as well, right? So, but make it available for those users so that they have it front and center. It's right there, easy to find. They don't have to hunt back for it. But Teams is just another place where we can go in and set some of the policies around all this. SharePoint Advanced Management. So if you buy the license, which is so cool, if you buy the licenses for Microsoft 365 Copilot, you get SharePoint Advanced Management. And you know, this is where it does things with restricting access to sites, isolating agent access, applying content permission policies, etc. And again, and that one actually showed us when I typed in the cert, when I did it in Copilot earlier, it said when we went to the little icon on the home up here that where we could do that. But we're going to come back here, and we could also just come out here to SharePoint. Open up this particular admin center. And there we go. And so now we can go in, we can start to, you know, manage some of our advanced management, like I mentioned, right in here. I don't have it on this particular one, but we can sign up. And with advanced management, you can get in, you can see all the different things that we can do here, like blocking download policies, changing history, conditional access, data access governance reports, all kinds of things, site level access restriction. So you have a full range of activities related to Copilot that you can do here. Great thing to get in and make sure that you're setting up those policies. And again, if you don't know, just ask Copilot in your admin area. And then finally, the very last Microsoft Purview. So if you have Purview, you have access to a whole range of other things. Not sure what just happened there. Here we go. Around discovery, protection of data, right? Sensitivity labels, honoring extract right usage, sensitivity labels, conversation labels, governance around auditing AI prompts, etc. All this is available through Purview related to Copilot. And again, we start from our home right here. And I'm going to say all admin centers. And there's Purview. Click that. And we'll let that open up. And this is where, and oh, look at that. I love how Purview, they are really integrating Copilot right in, right up again at the top. We have a link directly in here. And then for Purview Portal, it says, this is where, and there we go. And there's our pop-up where we can get started. They have a whole, so they can walk you through like a wizard-like function to get started, get set up, and then start getting things, come on back, alert summaries, document summaries and e-discovery, and a whole range of activities for Copilot in Purview to help you get set up.
So you would use Purview and SAM in combination, right, to prevent oversharing. I've heard that mentioned before,
Yes.
where Copilot can find everything. This prevents that. So any mission critical data or super confidential, Copilot can't see it anymore, right? Is that a true statement? Yeah.
That's absolutely true. They go hand in hand, right? And we've really designed them to work that way. There is one further area in SharePoint with Access. You can actually, if you are concerned about that sprawl and that you haven't got it under control yet, and you're looking to implement that, you can implement something called restricted SharePoint search within the SharePoint console as well. So just go in with Copilot, look it up, and then you can say, and just designate, areas that are authoritative, safe to provide, like your HR data, project management data, whatever, but provide those specific access, and that'll keep people from pulling that in their generative AI results, things outside of those allowed areas. And you can have up to, I believe it's 100 sites that you designate with their subsequent content, still providing people to be able to see in Copilot their own email, their own calendar data, and that kind of information. So
maybe that's a good session we could do a recording on. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great one.
Yeah.
So again, and then we've talked about the free chat. We did that in the beginning of this series, as well as for the full subscription. But from a control, right, that Copilot control, you can see enterprise data protection. You get it either way, both of them, automatic. You get that. Agent management, like we were showing, you get that in both. SharePoint Advanced Management is where it's RT management controls as well. And then SharePoint Advanced Management, where the story changes. You need to have users that are licensed for 365 Copilot for that to get turned on. Copilot Analytics, which, Darryl, where do you find that in?
That's in Viva Insights. So another benefit of getting Microsoft 365 Copilot, you get a license for Viva Insights.
Yeah, that's pretty rocking.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
So all these people licensed here are going to get that. You'll be able to then look at measure usage and adoption we have set reports now for this. And then finally, pre-built reports and advanced analytics for ROI. Again, that's going to fall under the paid subscription versus the free. But, your enterprise data protection, which is crucial for your web-grounded content, you're going to get that. You're getting those IT management controls that we were talking about and showing, and the agent management, all with either the free or the paid subscription. Configure the consumption meter. I'm not going to get into that. We're going to do more around that later when we talk about tail end of this series analytics. But just suffice it to go that you can says create a billing plan in Power Platform by going to licensing, pay as you go plans, and then you can have that metered. For those people who have the freely available Copilot chat, they can have that, and then you can, of course, manage those agents by using the control areas that we briefly highlighted, and we're going to go into more in depth with our subsequent sessions. But you can go in, create an agent, deploy it for those folks, have it available to them, and then pay as you go based off of usage versus the full monthly payment plan for M365 Copilot. And you can see it says it automatically creates a Power Platform production environment named Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat for tracking consumption. Beautiful thing. Message capacity. Again, we're going to get more into that in the tail end, but here you can see we get more insights within that Power Platform Admin Center, where we can start to see what people are using, and you can check that consumption. So that area that we highlighted, I will note this, they did turn on the new view. So that's how we're seeing all that right there. So you can go ahead, get that view right from there. And then finally, web grounding. So, real briefly, I just need to make this statement because I had a conversation with a customer earlier today, and we've had a number of these, but web grounding is going to significantly enhance all Copilot generative AI responses, whether the free or the paid, because it allows you to get that up-to-date, fresh information. But it's important to note that we do safeguard using enterprise data protection. We de-identify the user and the IP address and company from the outgoing. We do not maintain the prompt. We don't consume it into our model for training it. We don't use any of that. And we don't even take the whole prompt that the user initiates. We only take the keywords required from it to make that prompt out to the Bing search, which is going to provide the bulk of that information back. So allowing web grounding, if you don't, I would just say you're not only limiting your users, but you may be forcing them to do unnatural things like use alternate AI entities out on the web, where it grabs all the information they put into it, where it does. We don't upload the documents out there. Those stay in, right? If you want to analyze the document, it does not go out there. It gets analyzed in your tenant boundaries. So, you may force them to go out and start using another AI from a third party, because they want to get their job done. The other thing to keep in mind is, unlike web search, where if you go out and use a search engine, we have Bing as a search engine. You can go out to the internet, go bing.com. There are other ones that I know you're well aware of the name or names, right? And people, when they go out and they conduct search using those, pasting things in, copy, paste, etc., all that gets captured by that commercial service. So we are not doing that. We have all these things to safeguard that whole. I'll put a link to some of that information in this post. But keep that in mind, unless you're planning on blocking all internet search. And last thing is, people doing internet search, you can't even say it's just internet search anymore, because, for example, on ours, we give a side-by-side. When you conduct a search in Bing, you get traditional search and AI, generative AI response, and you get that with the other entities as well now. So you're not blocking any. The only thing, if you turn off Microsoft web grounding here in our Copilot, you're doing something that you're not doing for the rest of your users' internet usage.
Yeah.
So I'd just say that you need to think about that. Have them do the right thing where they're getting enterprise data protection, where we're doing all these things that do not happen out there to safeguard your data and information. But I'll provide some links. Go ahead.
And that security is behind the scenes, so it's not actually affecting anything that the end user's doing. So they're not doing anything unnatural, right? So we've got all that protection behind the scenes. As you rightly point out, if you're using a third party, the data's up for grabs. You know, as I always say, that if something's free, then you are the product, or your data is.
No, that's spot on, right? And it's your org's data is now the product.
Correct. Right?
Yeah. Here it's not. So we respect all that. So web grounding, we do have things where you can turn that on or off, and make that available. That's all I had.
Yeah, it's good.
So our next one, we're going to be diving into agents and SharePoint, looking specifically at the controls available there. These ones will be shorter because they're specifically focused sessions, but next will be agents and SharePoint, then Agent Builder. Then I think we're doing
Studio,
Copilot Studio.
I think so, yes.
And then we'll get into the analytics. But that's a high level. Anything you want to add?
No, I think it's a great intro, and I think it's really just go into the admin centers and use Copilot to help you in there. If you get lost, it's a great way to figure stuff out. It gives you the links to the documentation as well. So there's you're not going in and fumbling around with settings anymore. It literally tells you how to do it.
That's awesome. I'm glad you pointed that out earlier today, because I was like, you have to think, and then it's like, oh, no. Here, just ask me, what do you want to do?
We've both taken plenty of exams, right? We actually have to know the inside and out of the admin centers. Now you could kind of as a cheat code is using Copilot. So,
yeah. Get those exams. Just use Copilot.
Don't click that button.
Awesome. Well, with that, we'll close up for today for this session. So with that, this is Mike.
And Darryl.
And
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day.
And there's